members of the media, online viewers and listeners, home and in the diaspora. A pleasant morning and welcome to our first press conference for this new year 2024. I take this opportunity to wish all of you a very productive and successful year and of course a happy 50th anniversary of independence to Grenada. This morning I'm extremely pleased and it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Prime Minister, the Honourable Dickon Mitchell, who will present to you the reassignment of the Cabinet Ministers.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Madam Press Secretary. Happy New Year to all of the citizens of Grenada, both at home and in the diaspora, and a pleasant morning to members of the media who are here with us and who may be joining us online. The purpose for this morning's press conference is to inform the nation of changes that I have advised the Governor General to make in relation to ministerial portfolios within the Cabinet, effective as of today's date, the 5th of January 2023. I will now proceed to announce those changes. The first change is that the Honourable Lennox Andrews, who held the post of Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Tourism and ICT, Creative Economy, Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, with responsibility for economic development, planning, tourism, ICT, and the creative economy, that his portfolio has been changed and effective as of today's date, he is appointed as the Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives. Senator the Honourable Adrian Thomas, who held the portfolio as Minister of State with responsibility for agriculture and lands, forestry, marine resources and cooperatives, will now hold the position of Minister for Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture. Senator the Honourable Jonathan Lacrette, who held the position of Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, will now hold the position of Minister for Youth and Sports. Senator the Honourable David Andrew, who held the position of Minister for Education, Youth, Sports and Culture with responsibility for education, will now hold the position of Minister for Education. I now announce that Mrs. Delma Thomas, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Northwest, will now become a member of the Cabinet and has been appointed as Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for the Mungay Psychiatric Hospital. The Honourable Mr. Philip Telesford, who held the position of Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, will now hold the position of Minister for Health. Senator the Honourable Gloria Thomas, who held the position of Minister for State in the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, with responsibility for social development and gender affairs, will now hold the position of Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. I'm also pleased to announce the appointment of Senator the Honourable Quincy Britton as a Parliamentary Secretary within the Ministry of Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture, with special responsibility to assist the Minister for Culture. I also indicate that the Honourable Ron Redded, who held the position of Minister for State with responsibility for youth, sports and culture, will demit office as a minister, and he will remain obviously as the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast. Minister Redded is doing so that he gets some time off from ministerial responsibility to pursue his academic and educational pursuits. We obviously take the opportunity to wish him well in this. We anticipate that in the not too distant future, he will conclude those academic pursuits and would be in a position, if he so chooses, and if the Prime Minister agreed, to have him rejoin the Cabinet. So those are the announcements. We have an official press release which is already prepared, and so that will be shared with members of the media and the public immediately following this press briefing, so that you can have the accurate titles and positions that the ministers will now occupy. I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire cabinet for the service that has been rendered to the public over the last 18 months. I want to thank the staff at the respective ministries who worked with our ministers, and I want to wish the ministers who have had their portfolios reassigned the best of luck, the best of strength, good health, and success as we collectively continue to take this part of service to the people of Grenada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, for the presentation. I know we have a few people online listening and viewing. We want to thank you for joining us. And we have one member of the media present with us today, and we're going to invite her to ask questions. But before we do so, I'd like to invite any of the cabinet ministers who would like to share at this point. You may go ahead and do so.
Thank you very much. Well, not in the capacity as a cabinet minister, but certainly a member of parliament. But I want to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his gracious offer and to allowing St. George Northeast to experience what I would consider a very important part of our cabinet and our government. I think it was very important. We learned significant lessons and we built a team. And we are still a team. So I want to reiterate that I still remain the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast, fully committed, not just to party, but certainly to country, and will still continue to do my part to ensure that we move Grenada forward. And so to all the cabinet colleagues, I want to wish you all the best. And you know that you have my voice and my support in everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service, and I know you will continue to do well for your constituency and for Grenada. At this time, any other member of the cabinet, and I believe Honorable Delma Thomas would like to say a few words at this time. Minister, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Presec. A pleasant good morning to Prime Minister and other members of the team, members of the media. Let me first thank the Prime Minister for including me as part of his team to work for the benefit of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. I want to reiterate my commitment to the people and to the Ministry of Mental Health. As everyone in the media know, my passion as it relates to mental health, and so I want to pledge that I will give my best and do what it takes to improve people with mental health, to walk along to end stigma and discrimination and all the other aspects of the ministry. I pledge to do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Thomas. Anyone else? You may go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Press Secretary. Morning to my fellow cabinet colleagues. It's an honor and a privilege, to be here this morning. And let me say thanks to the Prime Minister for affording me the opportunity to sit at that level, serving at the executive arm of government. And you have my firm commitment and support. And just as my former colleague, my colleague mentioned, her passion. My passion as well is with culture, so it falls directly within my domain. So I pledge, my commitment to do the best that I can at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And we know that you will continue to serve Grenada well in the capacity of culture. Anyone else? You may take the floor at this time. I see some bright faces and smiles looking forward to speaking to the Grenadian public. So you may go ahead at this point.
Speak better, speak.
Mr. Telesford.
Thank you. I use this opportunity to wish everyone at home and in the diaspora, a very happy New Year 2024. And I am grateful for the opportunity to serve in the Cabinet of Grenada. And since this announcement, there has been quite a lot of calls and messages coming in to my phone, and I've spoken to several people and who have wished me well. I pledge my support to the Prime Minister and the Cabinet and to the rest of the Grenadian public at home and in the diaspora to do my very best. I recognize that it is indeed a huge challenge, and as everything else, I'm prepared to offer my best. I rely upon the professionals within the ministry and at various service areas to assist in crafting a good way forward. I also rely on the work that was already started and the seed that has already been planted to be able to assess our position to move forward. I recognize that over the next couple of weeks there would have to be a series of meetings and a lot of reading, getting acquainted to the legislation that surrounds health, and to also look at the legislative agenda moving forward, the program of activities that is set out in the budget, as well as the corporate plan that sort of embodies the way forward. So I'm committed to this call, and I pledge to do my best, and it is my hope that we would be able to gel rather quickly as a team to be able to move forward, because I recognize that in order to really achieve anything, you rely on your team in the ministry as well as across the government, because this cannot be achieved in isolation. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Infrastructure, Social Development, and all the other ministries have a role to play, and if there is not adequate cooperation, I know it can actually affect the quality of outcomes that is expected. So I'm committed to working together to achieving these outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Telesford, newly appointed Minister for Health. At this time, I'd like to invite any member of the media to pose their questions at this point. We do have one member online, Mr. Richards. And yes, Mr. Richards, you may prepare your questions, but we do have a question on the floor, so you may.
No question, Mr. Please. No question for now, thank you.
So my first question is for the Prime Minister, and I want to know your perspective on the media boycott over the last 24 hours, the comments that have been posted and all of that. Just want to know your overall thoughts on recent developments.
Well, I don't know whether there's been a boycott, and you're here today, so thank you for being here. And thank you for the question. I take it the media. Well, I saw a press release from MWAG, and all I can say, it appears they misunderstand what is taking place. We are here this morning. Prior to being here, we announced that there would be a press conference to treat with exactly what is going on here, which is a public announcement pertaining to the ministerial realignment or reappointments of ministers, which is effective as of today's date. And it would make good sense to me to announce this effective as of the date it is taking place. And that's all we've done. We are happy to be here. We are happy to share that information with everyone at the same time, not just the media members, the public as well. And all of the ministers are here, and we are all obviously quite happy to take questions and to engage with the media. So from our perspective, we have not engaged in any boycott of the media or any blackout of the media. the internal processes which pertains to, for example, the taking of the oath or the signing of the oath is done at the Governor General's residence, and I'm sure you'll appreciate that I have no control over the Governor General's residence, nor her schedule. And as we speak, she's actually out of the island. And so we had to ensure that our ministers could in fact take the oath in accordance with the Governor General's schedule if we wish to have the appointments made effective today. So the oaths were taken by the ministers yesterday, made effective as of today's date, partly or principally to accommodate the travel schedule of the Governor General, and obviously we are here this morning to meet with the media and to inform the nation of the changes that have occurred. So, as I said, I just think it's probably a misunderstanding on their part. You will recall that this is not the first time that there's been ministerial realignment or within the government since we assumed office. Myself and Minister Cornwall switched ministerial portfolios between infrastructure and finance. I simply announced similarly at a press conference that had been done, and both myself and Minister Cornwall were also there when we announced that, and we invited the media to take field questions and to engage with us. The media wasn't invited to see me taking the oath before the Governor General as Minister for Infrastructure, nor Minister Cornwall as Minister for Finance, because essentially this is just a simple document that you swear to and you sign. Of course, when you have a change in government, it's elections and it's a big exciting time, and so generally when the cabinet is being sworn in for the first time or ministers taking their oath, it will be a public event. But once that passes, changes with the ministerial portfolio are really almost routine things. So I would not have thought that the media was interested in seeing me or any of the ministers here take the oath when they already were ministers for the most part. And that just from a point of resources, we wanted to have all of the ministers here at the same time and invite all of the media houses to be present at the same time so we could have the announcement made at the same time. So that's my perspective.
Okay, so another question. So there's been a statement that's been released by the opposition accusing you, or your government I should say, of engaging in preventing press freedom of some sort by not inviting the media to the event yesterday. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you see I'm chuckling. That's my response.
Okay. So,
Honorable Telesford would like to respond.
Yeah, I just want to say this because I think it is important to note that there was no major ceremony or such yesterday. We all went in at varying times. So it's not like we all went in together and we all sat there together and signed, take the oath like that. And just thinking about it, it might have been even a challenge for the media to be there throughout the entire day, awaiting people to come to sign at varying times. Just thinking about it that way. That's my two cents on that.
all right, so I have like 2 more questions. Okay. So my next question is Prime Minister again. So regarding the sharing of information to the media, in the future, what do you think would be the best route in terms of like keeping the lines of communication open for between the government and the media, so that circumstances like this wouldn't happen again, where there's miscommunication of sorts? So what do you think is the best direction to take moving forward?
Well, I don't know that there's been any miscommunication or misunderstanding. The media job is to ask questions. Our job is to answer the questions if we are able to answer the questions and if they pertain to public service and our time in public office. From the government perspective, we have the Office of the Press Secretary. We have the Government Information Service. We have all of us as ministers who are open to the media asking us questions on anything at any point in time. I think the media also has to appreciate that not because something fits the media schedule means it fits our schedule. And so we actually work. And therefore, there are times when the media may want an interview or may want to ask a question when you're not in a position to answer or take the question. And so the fact that ministers were swearing an oath yesterday doesn't mean that the ministers have to be able to answer any questions from the media immediately the following day. As I've pointed out, I appreciate that individual media houses may want to get the scoop first on any particular issue. But when it comes to the nation's business, it is not my obligation to give a media house the scoop first. It is my obligation to give all media houses the information at the same time. This is what we're doing here today. But I mean, we are open to fielding and answering questions and communicating with the media. In fact, oftentimes when we come to press conferences and we provide information, we're told we're providing too much information all at the same time. So I certainly think we are committed to working, improving and building the relationship with the media. And that's what we will continue doing. So if the Media Association has any particular issue with us, they're free to take it up. I have to say, I have no issue with the media putting out any press releases of its own or criticizing the government. That's their right. If they think they have a different perspective with that of the government, I have no difficulty with that. They're entitled to their perspective. So I have no issue with them putting out their statement. If they issue the statement because they felt that way, that's fine. I'm not upset or annoyed, and we are not boycotting our engagements with them. And we have not criticized. I hope you appreciate that this government has not issued any statement in response to the media workers' statement, because it's their right to put out how they view or what they perceive to be the behavior of the government. If we think on reflection that there's merit to what has been said, we certainly will take it on. But if we equally think there is no merit to it, we also will say we don't think that there's any merit to it. Thank you.
Okay, so my final question is for Senator Delmar Thomas. So you are somewhat regular territory regarding your position in the mental health area. So what can we expect you to do in regards to moving forward regarding the Monkey Hospital, all of that, just overall expectations from your perspective?
Thank you for your question. So you as a member of the media, I will expect you to be part of what I would do, because we have to advocate for people with mental health issue. Stigma and discrimination, as we have seen over the years, is really a problem for people who suffer with mental illness. And so we have to work together, members of the media, the churches, non-governmental organizations, all the different organizations. We must work together to educate our people and let them be aware and deal with the issues that confront people who suffer with mental illness.
Thank you, Minister. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. We do have one media practitioner online, Mr. Richards. Mr. Peters, sorry, you may proceed with your question. And while we wait for, I think he's about to begin. You may proceed, Mr. Peters.
I have no question, thank you. I'm okay, I'm all right. No question.
All right, so Mr. Peters does not seem to have a question at this time. If there are any other member present today who would like to make some comments, you may proceed to do so. And then we can wrap up. Go ahead, Honorable David.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Press Secretary. So I want to join my voice and wish all of Grenada a very prosperous, happy, rewarding, and successful 2024. I wish you health and strength and well-being and peace of mind. And I wish that everything that all of us put our hands to as a people, we succeed with. So, and I also want to wish you a very meaningful 50th anniversary celebration. But I want to commend the Prime Minister for his leadership and his wisdom in leading the team over the last 18 months, and to let him know that I have full confidence in his judgment and his decision making. And as he continues to lead this team, we know that we are only going to continue to accelerate and to augment the things that we've started building upon. And this team is a team that I have full confidence in. So to my colleagues, all of us, including Brother Quince, Sister Delma, and with all of the experience that she brings. I have full confidence in this team and the values and the core values of the team and the mission to put Grenada first and the concerns and issues that will help lift Grenada and transform Grenada genuinely. And so I express full confidence in the team wherever we are assigned. There's a competence and a genuineness that all members carry that I know we will serve with wherever we are assigned. Wherever we are planted, we will grow. Wherever we are placed, we will bloom. And so, Prime Minister, full confidence in your leadership, and colleagues, full confidence in you as team members. All the best.
Thank you, Minister Andrew, for your words. And Honorable Adrian Thomas, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Press Secretary. Let me join my colleagues and also pledge my support for the reassignment of the exercise that we have taken on here in terms of reassigning ministers to different portfolios. First of all, I want to thank the Prime Minister for giving me the opportunity to serve in the Ministry of Agriculture for the last 18 months. And I want to thank the staff, the PS and the staff in the Ministry of Agriculture also for cooperating with me for the last 18 months. I think I had a very nice time there working with the people and the farmers in particular. And I also want to thank the Prime Minister for giving me the opportunity to serve in another ministry, Ministry of Tourism, Creative Affairs and Culture. I must say, and I'm saying it with a smile, that the Ministry of Culture has always been dear to my heart also, so I'm quite comfortable. And I will try to lead from the front because I may be taking the stage this year. I want to make sure that the ministers be on the P's and Q's because I'll be taking some notes, and if you do anything wrong, I'll be singing the notes. But however, I want to pledge my commitment to this administration. I think we're on the right path. The people of Grenada are supporting us, and we will not be pledged not to disappoint them, but to deliver what we have promised them, what they have voted into office for. And I look forward to working with the new staff in the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Affairs and Culture. So once again, I say thank you very much, and I look forward to it. I must mention also that yesterday I had the opportunity to meet for about 3 hours with the former Minister of Tourism, and we had some good discussion, and the transition was real nice. I think he gave me some brilliant ideas in terms of continuing on the foundation that he has laid, and I also gave him an outline in terms of where the Ministry of Agriculture is and where the foundation that we have laid and where we want to take agriculture. I think everything was well placed, and we are ready to deliver to the people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Minister. And I am going to hand the mic over to Honorable Lennox Andrews, who will echo some sentiments.
So thank you very much indeed. A very pleasant good morning to everybody, to Prime Minister and our team. I always cherish the thought that the greatest merit that one can achieve is to be at the service of his country and people. And if anything makes me happy, it's precisely that what makes me happy. So I'm extremely happy to be part of a team that has as its philosophy and its guiding thought the need to give our time, our talent, and our treasure combined to serve our people so as to provide a better life for each and every Grenadian and to improve the living standards of our people. And in so doing, make us proud as a country and as a nation and as a people. And therefore, in my Christmas message to the Prime Minister, I said to him that he can always count on me for my years of experience and exposure and negotiation in full support of the policies and programs and projects that are geared towards the social and economic transformation of our homeland and of our people. And therefore I am quite happy to be, if I may say, pointedly, the Minister for Agriculture on the ground. The Minister for Agriculture on the ground. Because I do believe, as a student of economics, and in particular, as a student of development economics, that agriculture can in fact be a major sector, or if I may want to say an industry, that can provide the opportunities for our people to work and to produce quality goods and services, allow them to earn a decent income, give them the individual freedom, to allow them to achieve some kind of economic independence. And I want to emphasize economic independence, so that we can develop. And it is therefore my duty to use agriculture as that instrument that can help us to alleviate poverty in our country and bring a new life to our Grenadians. And therefore pay my thank you for that choice, put it that way, of asking me to go on the ground and to bring back agriculture to where it's supposed to be, and where it can be, and where it should be. And I have within me that drive and that enthusiasm and that motivation to do just that. So I'm saying to my people, let's get ready for a new task and a new paradigm, a paradigm shift, a new construct that would take our agricultural sector and our economic development to a level that other countries would want to come to ask us what we have done, what we have been doing, and how we do it, so we can serve as that example for other regions and for other countries to emulate and to follow. Good? So thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning to all. I just want to add my voice to the whole conversation in expressing my gratitude to the Prime Minister for considering me to continue to be part of his cabinet. I am very much elated to be now responsible for 2 additional areas, community development and housing. And I know on the area of community development, we have an opportunity there to empower people and to bring changes in our community. Oftentimes when we hear community development, we think about sand, gravel, blocks, cement, and the main part of community development where we empower people, we more or less do not consider that. So in the Grenada context, we want to bring to the fore, going forward, the aspect of people development. And we will be going full steam ahead under the community development banner to ensure that our people understand that the power for development is in their hands. And we will be emphasizing that area a lot more in the coming months. So thank you very much, Prime Minister. I'm elated to be part of the team. And as I always say to my colleagues, just bloom where you planted, because we can really transform Grenada if we just embrace the service that we are called to provide in a meaningful way. So thank you very much, and all the best for the coming year.
Thank you, Minister. Go ahead.
Well, the way the conversation is going, it's almost inevitable that I will have to say something. Honorable Prime Minister, Cabinet colleagues, social media, Grenadians, both home and abroad. I have already met with my management team, and we have designated the years 2024 to 2027 as the years of global youth leadership and succession planning. in that we believe that every program and every project that falls under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth and Sport has a developmental, a leadership aspect to it. We have a number of sporting personalities in the diaspora who are leading in their own right in the sporting industry. The succession planning of the strategic focus for 2027 will be capacity building both internally and externally, as well as HR building both internally and externally. Of course, we must redirect some of the direction that the programs that fall under the auspices of the ministry is going to ensure that they dovetail into effective workforce development, reskilling and upskilling of our youth, as well as ensuring that they have the industry soft skills so that they can be effective, not just locally, but regionally and internationally. I can speak like this because Ministry of Youth and Sports is familiar territory. As you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion as well. So we are extremely excited at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. I want to thank Prime Minister for the opportunity that he gave me to serve in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. And as much as I will miss health and the management team, the technical staff, and the multiplicity of clinicians that I have enjoyed an amicable relationship with over the past 18 months, I believe that this posting, I have landed in my niche, and I also thank him for the opportunity that he has given me to have the 65% of the population that's under the age of 35 in my hands. And I make that statement pointedly. Additionally, I just want to thank my colleagues for the camaraderie that we've had for over the past 18 months, and I trust that we are going to continue to work together for the development of our youth and our sporting industry in Grenada. Though it is a multi-sectoral approach, I am in high spirits that we are going to collaborate for youth in tourism, youth in agriculture, youth in mental health and literacy, youth in education, youth in culture, youth in social development, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Two things jumped out at me: global youth leadership and the power for development is in our hands. And I think that is profound, and just, in our hands, meaning Grenadians, in all our hands. So we should lend together and make sure we develop our beautiful island, Grenada. Before we close, I just want to remind the listening and viewing audience of the reassignments. I know we were having some technical issues at the start, so some may have missed it, and we will post on all our social media pages as soon as we conclude the press conference. Minister Lennox Andrews, he will serve as the Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives. Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas will now serve as Minister for Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture. Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lecret, he will now serve for Minister for Youth and Sports. Senator the Honorable David Andrew will now serve as Minister for Education. And the appointment of Mrs. Delma Thomas, she will now serve as Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, with special responsibility for the Mount Gay Psychiatric Hospital. Minister Philip Telesford will now serve as Minister for Health. And Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas will now serve as Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. And we also want to make special mention of the appointment of Senator the Honorable Quick Britton to serve as Parliamentary Secretary within the Ministry of Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture, to assist the Minister for Culture. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and I now invite the Prime Minister. If you have any closing remarks, you may go ahead and do so at this point.
So thank you. I want to thank all our colleagues who are here, as well as our colleagues who are not here, for the tremendous work done over the last 18 months. I want to point out, obviously, that all of us, when we entered office in June 2022, were new to service at this level. It has been a steep learning curve for all of us. Part of this reassignment is an appreciation that we need to continuously learn. There's no such thing as becoming comfortable when you are serving the public, because every day a new challenge emerges that we must confront, that we must diagnose, and that we must be able to serve. So I think it's really an opportunity for all of us to continue to grow, to develop, and to be better at what we do, which is serving the public. I look forward to continuing to work with all of us. I welcome the two new members of the team, Senator Quince Britton and MP Delma Thomas. I want to particularly commend Minister Redden for taking the choice to pursue his education. And as the Minister for Youth and Sports pointed out, if we need youth in agriculture, youth in leadership, we need to ensure that the youth has a strong academic educational background to do so. And I think Minister, well, I'll have to call him former minister now, former minister, but MP Redden is leading by example. And it's an example I want our youth to pay attention to, that it matters not the heights of office you reach. There is no reason to not continue pursuing your academic and educational attainment. And I think Minister Redden should be commended for taking the opportunity to do so while continuing to serve the people of St. George Northeast. And so to the people of St. George Northeast, I want you to continue supporting him. I expect he will continue to work very hard on your own behalf, and it puts him in a position now where he can hold us as cabinet ministers responsible for the policies and programs collectively that impact the people of St. George Northeast. So Minister Redden, again, thank you very much, and Godspeed certainly in your academic pursuits. I look forward to you being what's the Latin phrase? Cum laude? Cum laude in short order. So again, I want to, as it's still early in the year, I want to wish each of us in Grenada and Grenadians and friends of Grenada a healthy 2024. We have our 50th Golden Jubilee upon us. It's an opportunity for us to reflect. It's an opportunity for us to unite and to move forward as one people in keeping with our theme, our journey, our people, our future. And so again, I look forward to us celebrating and commemorating our 50th anniversary of independence and to moving Grenada forward in the next 50 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister. What a great way to end today, and I just want to take this opportunity as well to congratulate all the ministers. Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you this year and for your continued service to Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So once again, I just want to say thank you to all for joining us online, those at home and in the diaspora, and special thanks to the media who showed up today. We want to wish you all the best and have a great day.
Thank you, my dear, for coming.